Dr. Fei Fei Li is the world's most influential computer scientist and a pioneer in modern AI. Often referred to as the godmother of AI, she recently appeared on the Huberman Lab Podcast. In this video, I'm going to analyze the 5 critical pillars in her visual and vocal image that are sabotaging her authority. If you're new here, I help mission-driven leaders become the 30 millisecond authority through my science-based 3-phase radiance system, a visual and vocal authority calibration, ensuring their message lands with 100% clarity and their legacy scales naturally. The 5 pillars that I'm going to analyze are spectral, which is colors, structural, which is wardrobe architecture, kinetic, which is body language and facial expressions, acoustic, which is how your voice sounds, and verbal, what you're actually saying. Research shows that the observer needs to build trust with all 5 pillars before they can fully process your message and grant you full authority. Let's start with the spectral signal. Here are the most prominent signs in her spectral signal that are sabotaging her authority. The black shirt is incoherent with her spectral type. Black has no frequency, that doesn't have the right wavelength and energy to elevate her visual radiance. Black makes her face look washed out and aged. It creates a gray tint on her skin that can make her appear sickly. The black shirt also blends with the black background, which pushes her out of the picture, while her head is floating in the air. This visual fragmentation disrupts the trust-building process because the audience doesn't see full-body presence. Many major podcast studios are using all-black studio setups, while dark setups are best for audio engineers and camera ops. For controlling light, they create severe visual dissonance and color clash for any guest and host who doesn't fit a very specific spectral type. Statistically, only around 5% of the global population look radiant in black. The other 95 rather look washed out, sick, or aged. I want to emphasize that in my work it is not about looking young. It is about establishing the highest level of radiance without dissonance interfering in that process. Meaning, I'm not helping you look young or beautiful. I'm helping you to look radiant, which builds trust based on science. And radiance is not influenced by trends. It has no expiration date, unlike beauty and age. The face framing highlights in her hair are coherent with her spectral type, but structurally, they introduce more clutter in combination with her specific hairstyle and her wavy hair type. Here are the most prominent signs in her silhouette that are sabotaging her authority. The button shirt is mostly simple in shape, with a feminine neckline that is incoherent with her body shape and polarity profile. It breaks the balance between her yin and yang features. It creates bulk at the front that distracts from her face, while it enhances the clutter in combination with the hairstyle. And I will come back to hair just in a second. The only other aspect structurally that is also sabotaging her authority is the fabric type. It is too light for her structural type and can make her appear too fragile. It strongly looks like 100 polyester or a heavy polyester blend, which weakens her authority because this fabric type cheapens any look. Her hairstyle fits her face shape, though it is slightly grown out by around 5 centimeters, creating bulk at the cheekbone area. This makes her face look rounder than it is, and it is also emphasizing the puffiness under her eyes. The puffiness itself is also contributing to a rather tired look. The reason you see the under-eye bags is because of her innate health issues, but also because of the studio lighting that is set up incorrectly. Due to the slight downward angle, light hits her face slightly from above, creating major shadows under her eyes, around her nose and mouth, and neck, which makes her look aged. And that is something that I recommend the studio to fix, so it presents the guest in a more favorable light, literally. Here are the most prominent signs in her body language that are sabotaging her authority. Her body angle is turned away from Huberman, which can make it appear as if she was shy to face him or didn't want to fully commit to the conversation. It can make her appear unsure. Now, in China, it is usually a sign of politeness, boundary setting, or modesty to turn away slightly from the person you are speaking to. Dr. Fei Fei Li was born in China and later moved to the US as a teen. So her fundamental identity in politeness is heavily influenced by Chinese traditions and standards. Her posture is slightly weakened by hanging shoulders. This exposes her neck and drops the head forward. This can appear tired, unfocused, and casual. This could be due to her personal posture issues or due to the chair in the studio. Huberman's studio uses fixed armchairs designed for a cinematic look rather than ergonomic support. The armrest and back support, as well as the chair height, are too low, which leads to lower back strain and hip discomfort. This forces guests to sit still through multi-hour recordings and compensate for the discomfort, which significantly drops their attention and ability to perform as speakers. And since we are talking about the studio setup, the microphone is turned away from her face, which can make her feel unimportant and thus not commit 100%. The camera's angle is producing a major visual block, hiding half of her body behind the clunky microphone. This diminishes her authority, which she cannot influence. Another visual block is also the cup, even though it is in black. Both the microphone and the cup block the audience from fully accessing her presence. Another aspect that is also decreasing her authority is the rapid eye movement that she does when she thinks deeply and speaks at the same time about complex matters. This can make her look nervous or even in panic, which lowers her trust signal, because any emotion that a speaker displays through wardrobe color, structure, body language, acoustic signal, and also verbal signal, the listener will mirror 100%, and a nervous mind will never commit. So people will stop watching the interview after 3 minutes. They will distract themselves with their phones. They will start focusing on visuals and thinking about how she looks and sounds, and much less about what she's actually saying. In the beginning, I observe her not knowing where to look, whether to Huberman or into the camera, due to the whole studio setup. This can make her look insecure and very shy. I notice her fidgeting on her blouse sleeve regularly throughout the entire interview, which again can make her look nervous, uncomfortable, or unsure of what to say. Fidgeting usually breeds distrust very quickly. Another reason why she might be fidgeting on the sleeve is because she's hot in the studio, a problem that she would not have had with a different fabric type. This also shows that the blouse is not the best choice for this specific setting. The most prominent aspect of her acoustic signal that is significantly sabotaging her authority is the hyponasal speech.
Because sensing the external world changes your self-perception, changes the way your relationship with the external world. To put it simply, if you can see food, it changes your life, right? From an evolution point of view, and you become someone else's food.
A congested sounding voice that is blocking her from sounding fully resonant and clear. It is particularly audible whenever she's pronouncing nasal consonants, such as M, N, L. The voice starts sounding stuffy, flat, or muffled, much like someone who has a bad cold or pinching their nose. I checked a few other videos of her, and she has the same restricted vocal sound in them. The hardest English sounds for Chinese speakers are usually consonant clusters, such as in crying, link, bring, project, first, converse, work, definitely, and so on, which can sound mumbled and make it harder for the listener to understand. People who start their second language in their teen years, as she did, usually experience a lifelong accent that they cannot change if they don't train their voices professionally. Now, an accent is not a problem per se, as many second language speakers believe, unless it restricts resonance and clarity. And I can greatly relate to this. I was born in Asia and came to Germany as a kid. English is my fourth language, while I studied 10 academically, so I can understand and guide my clients properly. Another aspect that trickles down in her acoustic signal are the 4 Chinese tones. In her native language, Chinese, the tones represent different meanings of a word. In English, artifacts of a tonal language like Chinese make the speech more crowded and messy, more data that the listener has to process that has no meaning in the English language. And this is the hardest part for any Chinese speaker to let go of when they learn English. As she speaks for around 15 minutes, she manages to drop more and more into the English phonetics and pronunciation, and only very few artifacts remain. However, by that time, many have already stopped watching, and Huberman himself has to focus very deeply on what she's saying, because it is typically quite difficult for English speakers from the US to understand the Chinese accent. Here are the most prominent signs in her verbal signal that are sabotaging her authority.
Then you also have after many decades of research, neural network algorithm is getting more mature. Starting, as we said.
I detect a few filler words that she uses in 2 scenarios. Number 1, she gets excited about telling the full context of a matter, and her brain is faster than her tongue, which is very typical for second language speakers, or when she gets very nervous about how to answer the question. Filler words can make it difficult for listeners to understand the message.
The huge convergence was the capability of GPU computing, which basically accelerated or parallelized computing so that you can have more flops going through algorithms, right? You need that speed.
Many of her answers are very jargon heavy, using words that are industry specific that normal people usually don't understand. This can dilute the message and the listener's willingness to continue watching. And she connects better with Huberman on this intellectual level than with the audience. Her overall warmth and competence across all pillars result in 30% warmth and 20% competence. Now, this ratio is sabotaging her authority significantly, especially the competence aspect, as in her field, she would typically need a higher competence level than warmth. To achieve a unified field and increase authority, my clients start with the Radiance Diagnostic, a private visual and vocal authority audit based on a video that they sent me via email. And the audit looks very similar to the video that you're watching right now, but usually goes deeper into each pillar. The audit allows you to understand your specific authority score, which is the level of dissonance and fragmentation in your visual and vocal image, as well as understanding your warmth and competence ratio. You can secure your audit at the link in the description, and the seats are limited. Please let me know in the comments which part of the video helped you, and feel free to share this video with a colleague, friend, or family member.